welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about the books that I read in the month of April. April was a pretty good reading month. I got through 9 full books and then I had one DNF at 40%, so we are going to get straight into it. First, we have Daisy Hates by Jessa Hastings. This is the second book in the Magnolia Parks universe, which is a contemporary romance series that I started last month, and this book was quite slow to start, but when I tell you when it picked up, it was so good and just as addicting as the first one. It took me, I would say, about 50 to 100 pages to get really into it, but it's Magnolia Parks. This series, the way this author writes her characters, it's so toxic but compelling at the same time, and I already have the rest of the series and I cannot wait to get back into this world because it's just so good. Okay, and then I also finished the Murderbot Diary series by Martha Wells. Network Effect, Fugitive Telemetry, and System Collapse. It's books 5, 6, and 7, and these were so good. If we're going to get into the specifics, I gave book 5 and 6 5 stars and book 7 4 stars. I think it was just I wanted more time with these characters, and it was a satisfying ending. But overall, this is such a fun sci-fi series. The books are so short, they're quick to get through, and I don't think I could ever get bored of being in Murderbot's perspective. He's just so funny. And then hiding somewhere here, we have No Gods for Drowning by Haley Piper. I was so excited about this book. Needless to say, I knew absolutely nothing going into it, but I was so bored with this book. I got 40% through. If I feel like I'm gonna get to the end and it's gonna feel like a waste of time, I'm not gonna push myself through it. I can't even remember much of this book, so I'm gonna just read you guys my Goodreads review for this one because it was one of the books at the very beginning of the month. I said, I really wanted to love this book, a sapphic fantasy mystery. This book felt like the wrong kind of chaotic. I'm just gonna say that it wasn't my vibe, and unfortunately I didn't connect with the characters, and I think that drove the story downhill for me. So I'm not saying that nobody can love this book. It actually had quite a few very good reviews on Goodreads. It just wasn't the book for me, and that's okay. And then this month I also read Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. I had a really good time with this book. If you guys know, I recently read Beartown by Frederick Bachman, and that was a 5-star. That was probably one of my favorite books of this year so far. And this one was a 4-star for me. I really enjoyed it. I think the relationships that developed throughout the story, this book was so interesting. It's like a bank robbery. It kind of goes wrong, but the stuff that is talked about in this book is so real and intense, just like Beartown, and I think if you're looking for a fictional read, this is really fun, and it's fast paced, and it just talks about real stuff. And then we have the second book in the Twisted series by Anna Huang, Twisted Games, and I will say that I like this book more than I like the first book, which is funny because when I read the first book the first time, I gave it 5 stars, but this one I ended up rating 3.5 stars. Already looking back on the two and comparing them in my head, I really liked how they had more time. I think nothing romantic really happened between them until over the 40 to 50% mark, which is my favorite. I like a bit of a slow burn, and Bridget and Reese were just so real, and I loved their story and the way their relationship developed and the ending, the way it wrapped up for them. So I am looking forward to getting to the rest of the books, especially if it just goes uphill from here. Then we have book 3 in the Hexall trilogy by Rachel Hawkins, Spellbound. I did read a recap just because it's been years since I read the first 2 books in this series. I ended up giving this book 4 stars. This was a phenomenal ending to a very fun, witty, young adult paranormal series. Now, what I will say is, younger me, had I just read this book back then when I read the first 2, this probably would have been a 5-star. but because it's been so long, there was a little bit of disconnect between the characters for me. I would still highly recommend this series, especially if you're looking for young adult, anything minimal spice. These characters are so witty and the banter between them is great. And I loved this ending. Also, personal opinion, I need Rachel Hawkins to write more young adult because I really loved the first 2 books in the, I think it's Renegades series by her, and then this one as well. And I tried reading one of her thrillers and I wasn't the biggest fan, but she writes such good young adult characters. Next, we have the second book in the Emily Wilds series by Heather Fawcett. This is Emily Wilds' Map of the Other Worlds. This was such a good book. This story is just so intriguing and the characters, you get so connected to each and every one of them, and I cannot wait to see how this wraps up in the conclusion. And lastly, tied with Daisy Hates, we have my top book of the month, which is The Right Move by Liz Tom Ford. Literally, guys, look at how tab this is. This book was so good. Indy and Ryan are such a cute couple. Again, I don't think anything really happened until like after the 40 to 50% mark, which is my absolute favorite, is when, you know, they build the actual relationship before the other stuff happens. I don't feel like I missed out not reading the first one. I was able to make the connections that Xander and Stevie were the main couple in the first one. I guess I probably should have read a summary at least before going into this one, but I didn't feel like I missed anything. When I tell you Liz Tom Ford knows how to write a fictional man, I am obsessed with these boys. Going through this one, I already knew who I personally wanted to read from next, and I got him. I already read book 3. I got him. Kai. Ooh. If you think I love this book, Caught Up, a whole different level. And I'm so excited to read Isaiah's book, and Rio's book is actually coming out this month, and I don't think I've ever fallen down a contemporary romance rabbit hole the way that this series is making me fall down a rabbit hole. But yeah, if you're looking for a fun contemporary romance, sports romance series, I would highly, highly, highly recommend these books. Like I said, this one got 4.5 stars for me, and I'm obsessed. Anyways, that is going to be all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know what your favorite and least favorite books of April were. Give me all your book recs in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!